Hello, Sagittarius. This is a tarot reading for the collective of Sagittarius. Just as a quick disclaimer, do not use these readings to replace professional advice of any kind. The other thing is, I am not a therapist, so please do not use these readings to self-diagnose or replace advice from a professional. But I do hope that you find these readings helpful and insightful in some way. These readings are meant for entertainment and personal enlightenment purposes only. And I hope that you approach these readings with an open heart and an open mind, and sort of approach them like you're having a conversation with a friend, where you listen to what they have to say, and either you take the advice they give or the advice that they suggest, or you dismiss it in a way that is, you dismiss it because it doesn't feel right for you at this time. So have that same dynamic in you while I give you these readings, or any reading really. Yeah, so let's get to it. I have my tarot deck here, and I have my cup of coffee, and let's see, what message do you have for Sagittarius? What message do you have for Sagittarius? What message do you have for Sagittarius? First card is the Five of Wands. Then we have the Four of Swords reversed, and then we have the Nine of Wands reversed. So right away I'm thinking it's either you're going through a tumultuous time, or you recently went through a tumultuous time, and there's a need for rest because this took a lot out of you, and you're also feeling a bit hopeless, maybe even downtrodden. From your perspective, things are not looking good. Just because let's say you've been through the ringer, as they say, and it was really tough to get through it. But one way to look at it is that you got through it. You did the best that you could, and maybe you took a big loss, but you survived. You survived emotionally, you survived mentally, you survived physically, and you should give yourself credit for making it through. Then we have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords makes me think of quick action. So maybe this troublesome event that occurred, it was possibly sudden, and maybe that's the reason why you were caught off guard. That's what the Nine of Wands reversed is saying, is that you were caught off guard, and things took you by surprise, but you made it through. Also, the Knight of Swords could represent the person or thing that got you through this event more quickly than you possibly were anticipating, because they were knowledgeable about whatever was going on. Like, maybe they were your guide through this thing. Then we have the Five of Cups reversed. Some reason I want to say it's the end of disappointment. I feel like feeling disappointed is not really something that ends. So maybe it's the end of essentially a mourning period, where you were grieving whatever the loss was, because it's likely that you were hoping that whatever your end game was, it didn't come to pass the way that you had hoped. Instead, you had to deal with this event that kind of took you for a loop, but you are possibly at a point where you're done either feeling sorry for yourself or grieving whatever loss it is that you felt. And I also want to say it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to let go of the grief that you feel over the loss. And I'm getting that from the cards, but it'll come in cycles, and the more you allow the cycle of grief to go through you, the more you're able to carry it without it taking over. Then we have the Queen of Cups. Let's see. The Queen of Cups speaks about nurturing and emotions and intuition and imagination. And there's a lot of water, and water is a symbol of the unconscious. So we could think about dreams and our shadow aspects, things we do that we don't realize we do because they've got deep roots in our psyche and in our past that sort of manifest at different points in our lives. But the Queen of Cups is here to say, as much as this hurts, it's also teaching you something about yourself. And I feel like I already mentioned, like, you should give yourself credit for surviving, in quotes, because surviving could be in different forms, not just physically, but in other ways. And Queen of Cups is saying that this moment is teaching you how resilient you are, how adaptable you are, and you don't see it because you're always downplaying your capabilities. I'm getting that from the Four of Swords and the Nine of Wands. You may have a difficult time being proud of yourself. The Queen of Cups is, I feel like she's saying, try to see yourself the way that others see you, because you're stronger than you realize, and you don't allow yourself to give yourself a pat on the back because you think that is a bad quality to have for some reason. Then we have the Hermit reversed. And the Hermit reversed is... So I often envision the Hermit going up a mountain and isolating themselves from society. I feel like the Hermit reversed is climbing back down that mountain and returning with whatever wisdom that they have acquired. And I'm looking at the Hermit's lantern, and I'm thinking that they are here to shine a light on your resilience. And I'm also seeing how the image of the Hermit echoes the image of the Five of Cups, and they're both reversed, right? Look at that. And what I'm thinking is that this has happened before. It's a repeated pattern. Like you do not You do not express pride in yourself when you go through a difficult time, because you feel like it's bragging or it's too prideful, or and like other people have it worse, and you feel like that's a bad thing to do. But there's a difference between the pride of ego and the pride of going through something where you, even if you don't win in the end, you should still be proud of yourself for surviving through it. You should be proud of yourself for doing the best that you could, because that also takes hard work. Then we have the Seven of Wands reversed, and to me, the Seven of Wands and the Nine of Wands look very similar, and I feel like that is representing your the reversed. So that I feel like that's representing your inability to see your quality, like the good qualities of yourself that you have during your worst times. You're very dismissive of these good qualities, your resilience, or the effort that you give, even if you eventually lose. And I feel like the Seven of Wands is saying it's time for you to give your work the level of importance that you haven't given it in the past. Like, for example, I'm thinking, what I'm thinking of is, I'll give a personal example here, is whenever I would write an essay for school, and I would get a good or bad grade, it doesn't matter, and the teacher would return it, I would never really look at the grade, and I would just throw it in the garbage when I would walk out of the classroom to go home or whatever. Like, I put in all that work, and then I got it back. I didn't care. Like, I just tossed it. And one time a professor pointed out to me that he saw me do that, and I got a good grade on it, and he, like, it broke his heart to see me throw it in the garbage and not really look at his critiques or whatever, like, because it showed him that I didn't care, even though I put all this effort into the into the essay paper, whatever. And like that that's the kind of thing that I feel like this reading is talking about. And you might be doing something similar where you put in all this effort, but win or lose, you don't care. And that can start to wear you down. And for me, it manifested in low self-esteem, and it might be similar for you as well. And yeah, so there's that. And then we have the bottom of the deck, which is the Six of Swords. And so this card is saying that you're running away. Essentially, you're running away from yourself. You are not, it's this thing where you're not caring about work and effort that you've put in, so that is causing you to kind of be like, I don't really care, so what's the point? That might be the mantra that you're saying to yourself constantly. What's the point? What's the point? That's going to start to wear you down. and eventually nothing is going to have any point, any meaning, and you're going to become cynical, I guess, if you aren't already, and that's going to snowball into low self-esteem, etc., etc., a whole bunch of different things. And like, essentially what you're doing is you're knocking yourself down when you're already on the ground. And I feel like the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Cups are here to say it's time to lift yourself up. And I'm thinking the Queen of Cups is the element of water, and this is the Six of Swords is depicted by a little boat on a river. And it's like, it's time for you to float back up to the surface. Like, stop submerging yourself in the pointlessness, or the pointlessness that you perceive for some reason. And the Knight of Swords is saying it's time for you to breathe, to take a deep breath and revitalize yourself and see that you are worth it, even for yourself, and stop running away from yourself. Okay, that is the reading, Sagittarius. Oh, wait, hold on, astrology time. We are looking at air signs with the Knight of Swords, which is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We are looking at Virgo with the Hermit reversed. So the Hermit reversed, we want to think about the darker aspects of Virgo, which essentially amount to the need for control. And so that could be something that comes up a lot for you. And then we want to, with the Queen of Cups, we're looking at water signs, which is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Alright, so that is it for this reading, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for being here. Please share your thoughts in the comments below and give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!